Hello, everyone. How you doing out there? Welcome to another episode of Ash Chat Havana. I'm one of your hosts, Dave. With me, as always, Keith.
What's up, folks?
We got a great show today. We're being joined by the fine folks at La Sirena Cigars, and we're really stoked to have them. And actually, VJ is out on location with them right now, somewhere, nice and tropical and all that kind of stuff. Because VJ gets to go everywhere fun, and we get stuck here in the lounge. But someone's got to hold down the fort, right?
Wait, so VJ's on location or VJ's on location?
Oh, no, you'll find out in a minute. He's on location.
I like it.
But before we get started, before we bring any of them in, I do want to remind everyone, if you're watching right now live, awesome. Thanks for following us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. All the social medias are at Ash Chat Havana. Again, we are coming to you live from the beautiful Members Lounge at Havana on 25 in Monroe, Connecticut. So if you're local, come on down, stop by, grab a smoke, hang out. Keith's going to get up in just a moment because I see a customer
because we are
walking.
super live today.
Super duper
live.
And this is an active retail shop and lounge, so you will hear some of that in the background. But again, thanks everyone for having us out. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Viking Beardsmen, beard oil and beard balm.
Thank you, Dougie Fresh.
Check them out at www.vikingbeardsmen.com. I'll actually throw it up here in 1 second. There it is. You can see it on a little scroller down there. Check them out. Beard balms, beard oils. They got a bunch of different scents. They're local here in Stamford, Connecticut. All made small batch. Go check. I actually just saw they have a beard butter now for Odin Smoke. And Doug, I'm hitting you up. I want to get some of that shit. So anyway, I think without further ado, let's get right into it and not leave our guests waiting. First off, I'm going to bring in VJ. So VJ, I hope you're ready. VJ, how you doing, man? I can't hear you.
VJ is muted.
Oh, you know why? Hang on a second. I know why. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to bring in Danny and Ariel from because you're using their microphone, so we can't hear you right now. So Danny and Ariel from La Sirena Cigars, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. This is lovely.
It looks gorgeous out there where you guys are. VJ, again, hello. You didn't get to say hello because I didn't have this set up properly. Oops.
Oopsie.
Technical difficulties in the live chat is fine. Understand.
I heard you say something, but I don't know what the hell it was. So, cool.
All right, we're live.
Yeah.
Guys, if you can excuse me for just one moment, I have to step away and help a customer. VJ.
Take it away, man.
I'm going to take it away. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Well, I'm happy to be sitting here with Danny Ditkwich and Ariel Ditkwich of La Sirena Cigars. I'm going to have them give you an overview of the company, where they've come from and where they're going to. And then we've got some questions that we have lined up for them for our show. And why don't we give you guys an opportunity to tell us about La Sirena, how it started. Be brief if you'd like, but be elaborate if you'd be prepared to as well.
Are you starting or should I?
Yeah, you're boss. She's the boss.
Absolutely. Well, we've been around a while. 11 years. Celebrated 10 years of, I think, pre-COVID. So everything's before and after. So we've been around over 10 years now. I was in grad school and hanging out at the cigar shop with my dad on Long Island, and that's when I started meeting like all of the incredible people behind cigars, all the characters, and it sort of just started like that. It was like, oh hey, you don't mind cigar smoke? And I was like, mind cigar smoke? Like, no, I love being here. And they're like, great, come work for us. And I was like, oh okay, cool. What does that mean? So they were like, okay, you'll just come to an event and you'll cut and light some cigars. And I was like, okay, it sounds easy enough. And I think 15, 30 minutes into my first event, I was like, this is terrible. I am so bored. I do not want to stand here and cut and light cigars. I'm like, come teach me something. Let me work the humidor. I want to know what I'm selling, what I'm smoking, what I'm pushing. And that was really the start of my intro into the cigar industry. After doing that for a little while, Rene Castaneda from, at the time, Miami Cigar and Company, the vice president, he's who brought me into it. He was like, wow, you're really good at this. And you like cigars. You don't just mind them, you like them. you want to talk to people, you want to be engaged. He's like, let's do something bigger. Let's build a brand. And that was really it. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of La Sirena Cigars, 10 plus years ago.
That's a great story. I've heard you tell that story many times, and it never amazes me. And every single time, I'm always excited to hear about the brand. I've known you guys for quite some time as well, and I have the pleasure of smoking a very aged La Sirena. The label just flew into the water. It's a wonderful green. This is probably a 9+ year cigar.
Wow.
Sirena. Yeah, it's a Lancero, and they're harder to find. Very hard to find. And then I think Danny's smoking the A, and let Danny talk about some of the sizes in the brand.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm going to light my cigar right now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because why? Because we're Ash Chat. But
Yes.
we like to talk more about the manufacturers and the owners and the people who live behind the dream. Go ahead, Danny.
So we came out with the A as a surprise to Ariel. It's called the Ariel, the A. It is my 50th, the 25th birthday. We had a party at Ohika Castle, and we had about 200 people there. So we had 200 cigars made to give to everyone at the party. It was an A, and what it was, we had the 5 sizes of La Sirena. We had the Sea Sprite, which is our Corona. We had the King Beside, which is our 6x60. We had the Divine, which is our Torpedo. We had the Prince, which is our Robusto. We had the King Poseidon, which was a 6x60. And at the time, they were in treasure-shaped boxes, and the owners of the stores were complaining they couldn't stack the boxes.
They look so cool, though.
Damn
what
store
matters.
owners.
That's what matters. That it looks cool.
Everything Ariel did in the beginning was cool. The treasure-shaped boxes, the big bands. Everyone said the band was too big for the cigar.
Yeah, that's really why we came
Yeah,
out with the A, honestly, to make the band look normal.
Do you still have any of those treasure chest boxes?
Yes.
I would love to try to stack those here.
I was going to say
man.
that this band is mighty massive and it looks gorgeous. Like I don't know if people can see that at home, but it's awesome.
Beautiful.
So
That was, I'll be honest, that was a happy accident. Like, we wanted big and ornate and gorgeous, but, on a computer screen, there's no this image is actual size, right? So
Correct.
we're like, yes, gorgeous, let's go to production. And then they came out on the cigar, and I was like, and, I prefer Coronas, so I'm smoking a Corona, and I light my cigar, I'm 2 puffs in, I'm like, oh.
It's all band.
Okay, label off.
Yeah.
So what we did at the party is when we made the A, we gave everyone, and Ariel didn't know it, we put a secondary band on it.
Yeah.
Underneath the label.
Yep.
There you go. There it is.
And then after that, we put secondary bands on all our La Sirenas. And then when we came out with the La Sirena Light, we put the secondary band on the foot. And we're doing a new cigar, which Ariel will talk about later. We'll talk about later. And we have a nice secondary band going on that.
Now is that latest? And I don't want to get too far into it, but is that going to be a limited release?
No, that's
Okay.
going to be a regular production.
Okay.
It's a takeoff on our 10th anniversary cigar. Which this was the 10th anniversary. And we took this cigar, which was made by Alejandro Tarrant in Mexico, with a 10-year-old San Andreas wrapper, with a 7-year-old Brazilian binder, with fillers from Nicaragua, Brazil, Dominican Republic, and Honduras. And we took that cigar and we are making it an everyday production.
Okay.
There'll be 3 sizes.
So the secondary band underneath for every 2,000 cigar, for every second 1,000 cigar, can you put like a gold one as like a golden ticket so where we can come hang out with you guys on the
I
boat?
like that. It's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yep. Little Willy Wonka action.
Yeah,
See?
I'm into that.
She's in it. See? She's all about it.
Find them all the way out to New York.
That'd be cool.
We can work on that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Don't force his hand here.
Okay, I'm sorry. My brain works like that.
My wheels are turning.
See?
I love that idea. So, Keith, what are you smoking?
What am I smoking?
Yeah.
I'm smoking the same thing that Dave just showed.
The La Sirena Light.
Yes. Speaking of light, the glare. Oh, there we go. See it a little bit better. I'm just now lighting it up now. So can you tell me a little bit about this cigar, like the filler binder wrapper?
Ariel, that's a funny story. So I had a cigar company called Old School Cigars with my partners, and Ariel and I were doing events together. And all Ariel had at the time was the La Sirena and the Oceana, maybe? Merlion. And so we had a medium plus, a medium, and my Jack's Light was selling really well, and Ariel wanted to bring a light cigar into her portfolio. So instead of
well, I had a hard time. We had a hard time when we were working on blends with some various manufacturers. I wasn't getting any flavor from the light cigars.
Yeah.
And I, like if I'm smoking, I want to taste it. I want to
Correct.
enjoy it. I want like a flavor bomb. And I was missing that in like a lot of the samples that we were getting and trying to blend it. And I just kept going back to the LT that my dad was selling. I was like, I want it to taste like this.
Right.
This is what I want my light cigar to taste like. So that's when I was like, hey, let me just buy this from you. Let me just take yours.
No need to reinvent the wheel.
Right?
Bought it from Dad.
So what Ariel did was buy Old School Cigars for me and my partner, and she took the Jack's Light and aged the tobacco another 2 years longer than I had it aged.
Nice.
And she came out with the La Sirena LT, which was the Jack's Light. So that wasn't a reinvention, but that's what she wanted. So she gets what she wants.
Well, that was smart.
It's it's one of my like. Anytime I meet someone who's like, listen, I want to try some of your cigars, but I'm new to this. What's a great starter cigar, a breakfast cigar? I mean, I always keep a La Sirena Light with me at any time, because for me it's just like the perfect anytime cigar.
It's an intro cigar.
Right, but with flavor, So
Of course.
someone smoking and be like, wait, what's the point of this?
It's not like an Ashton or a Griffin. Sorry, not to play those guys like that, but sometimes like an Ashton or a Griffin, they're just too mild without, it's missing a lot of the flavor. And actually, VJ, we purchased these, not here, we purchased these maybe 4 or 5 years ago and carried them, and this was one of the ones that we carried for that very reason. We had the mild, the medium, and then the full body Lanceros. Those were nice. But yes, this is a nice intro cigar for a beginner. Or if someone comes in and they're looking for a gift for someone, they don't know what they smoke. I tend to err on the side of mild, but I don't want flavorless. I want them to enjoy it. So this would fit that bill.
Another good use that I found for the La Sirena Light. A lot of the guys that are like, oh, I'm going to golf today. It's a great. I'm always like, oh, try this one. Like, this is a great golfing cigar because
Perfect
you're busy.
size too.
Not right. Have the Robusto, you can have the. It's like.
Yep. Yeah, they like the Toro or the Torpedo, that size. I understand that's a 9-hole size. So they pick up a couple of these, one for the front 9, one for the back. You're all set. Well, it's a delicious smoke. Very, very nice. I'm gonna prematurely pull off my outer band in hopes that I have a golden ticket underneath. No golden ticket.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
In Connecticut, sorry.
All right. So I kind of missed what you guys were talking about a moment ago.
I think I might cut you off.
Oh.
It happens often. You were telling him about the LT.
Oh. The LT is made out of the Placencia factory in Honduras. Ecuador, Connecticut wrapper with Honduran fillers and binder. It's just a nice cigar that we made for Old School, and now it's the La Sirena LT. Instead of a 3-year-old wrapper, it has a 5-year-old wrapper. The binder is a 2-year-old wrapper. The 2-year-old binders are the 1-year-old binder, and the fillers are 3 years old, give or take, mixed fillers. It was just to give it the taste, a little more strength, but light, for what people were looking for.
And you said it's an Ecuadorian shade wrapper?
Correct.
Very nice. So that's not as light and sweet as the true Connecticut shade, but it gives a little bit more flavor that helps balance out the filler and the binder. I like that.
That was the purpose on the Connecticut. Like I said, when I was old school cigars, we had the Jacks Light, we had the original old school, we had Sticks, STIXX, and I don't really go for light cigars, but people do. So I gave them a light cigar that wasn't a light cigar.
So I'm going to ask both of you. You can answer in any order. What were your first cigars? What was the first cigar that you ever smoked?
Well, she may not remember, but when she decided to go into the business, we wanted to educate her.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that this was.
Good story.
I thought this was my first cigar. Okay, continue.
Well, now you know where I'm going. You can talk about your first trip and then go into the Casada factory and you talk about your education and your first cigar.
But okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, we're on the same page.
Just in there.
That right. I thought. I just wanted to make sure because COVID.
Pre-COVID.
We got a lot of things.
It was pre-children.
I know, but yeah,
Pre-wedding, pre-children, pre-everything.
lifetime ago.
Well, last year doesn't really count. Last year almost didn't even happen. So
That's what I feel like. I just missed a year.
it did. It zoomed right by.
Ugh.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So when I started really working in the industry, like not cutting and lighting cigars, but selling cigars, and that's when everyone was like, okay, you need to go to a factory, and that really changed my entire perspective.
Okay.
It's one thing, what I liked about the cigar industry before I knew cigars was the people, right? Like
Yep.
you're in a lounge right now, like you meet the most incredible people. There are people from every walks of life.
Yep.
Every economic background, every ethnic background, like there doesn't matter your political affiliation, like your common ground is cigars. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
It is.
And then,
Yep.
right? And like, I've been to cigar events all across the country. I've met people that, like, we're sitting down having a conversation for like hours.
Mhm.
This happened at the shop in Indianapolis. I remember this distinctly because I was hanging out with this amazing gentleman. I believe his wife was there with him. We were having such a great conversation. They left and they're like, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, yeah, "Bob." What do you mean, do I know? I know it's Bob. They're like, "Yeah, Bob is like first in command in the U.S. Army and like works for the president." And I was like, "Oh no, that didn't come up in our conversation about what we were smoking." But
It's Major Bob.
it was so cool. But so when I got past like just the coolness of the industry, that's when my dad and a bunch of the friends from the industry, they were like, you need to see how cigars are made. You need to see the entire process. So they took me to my first factory trip, and we went to Honduras with Christian Aurora back when he was still with it was Camacho and Vergara, right?
No, Camacho himself.
Camacho himself. And I went to his factory and we stayed there for, I don't know, 4 days, 5 days, and I saw everything.
It's life changing, isn't it?
Life-changing.
The same cigar tastes different after that experience.
100%. I highly recommend it to anyone who has the opportunity at some point. Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican. I mean, the thing that blew my mind the most is that it was 100% handmade. 100%
Yes.
handmade. To this day, and this is, it's like 10 plus years later, I still have not one single product in the world that I've like met physically or seen that's 100% handmade. It just blew my mind. It really did. So that's when I experienced my first cigar. I was like, it was one thing to be in the industry and sell cigars and like love cigars from that aspect, but once you see how it's made, you're right, it changes your perspective and it tastes different. So that's when I was like, okay, light it up, let's go.
I have a quick question, just an interjection. Where are these made? Where are La Sirena cigars made?
Well, so we actually, this is the beauty of La Sirena, in my opinion, is that we're able to work with incredible manufacturers all over.
Okay.
So the La Sirena Light that you're smoking is from Plasencia.
It's from?
Plasencia.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense. Okay, please continue. So, factory tour.
Yeah, so no, that was my first cigar was a Camacho, and then then after that, I went to the Posada factory in the Dominican Republic, and that was my second cigar. And then I went to, I think, the Nicaraguan festival, and that was oh God, we could have stories about that one. That was, so in there I smoked, my father's cigars, which I became really fond of. They were also part of Miami Cigars, which is how it was like everything was tied together. And really cool part about that side of the industry is that's a big family. It like your competitor is also your best friend, and then sometimes your brother-in-law. You know?
Yep.
It's really cool.
All right, so maybe only 10 golden tickets, and those 10 tickets go on a factory tour somewhere.
What if we do like silver tickets come to the lake?
Yes.
Go overseas.
All right, I think I missed that part of the conversation, but I like where it's going.
So they were saying that there's the large band and then the underneath band, the second band.
Oh.
I had suggested, because I'm a loony, to have like 10 golden bands, and those 10 golden tickets get like a Willy Wonka fest with Ariel and Danny. I was saying on the lake, but now factory tour sounds better.
Factory tour.
I'll pitch in. I'll totally pitch in.
I can't wait to take so I have 2 girls now, and they're young. They're not smoking cigars yet. They're 1.5 and 3.5. But
give them a couple years.
They love cigars because they see us with cigars all the time, and I can't wait till they can like come with me on one of these trips and really experience it.
That'd be amazing.
Beautiful, and it's beautiful. Remember when we went to the Dominican Pro Cigar Festival once and did a tour of the Flor Dominicana, and we were in the fields, and I'm okay. I know this like might not appeal to everyone, but I met a Chihuahua in the field, in the tobacco field, and
who
I
doesn't?
spent the whole day with a Chihuahua. Remember? I think there's a picture of it in one of the magazines.
Is that the Chihuahua I have now? He came from the Dominican as well.
Oh, I want to bring him back so badly, but I thought they'd miss him. Right? There's a picture somewhere of it. Like, we were just running through tobacco fields together, me and this Chihuahua.
That's awesome.
What was your first cigar, Danny?
Yeah, Danny. Can't get out of this one.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest.
I was gonna say, is he gonna do the?
Yeah.
Truth.
I was at a fundraiser. I was the president of the Kiwanis organization, national president of the industry. And it was out of the five towns Kiwanis. And my now partner, Randy Holden, at Tobacco Plaza, was doing a fundraiser for Kiwanis. And he brought like 50 cigars, and we auctioned them off. He would tell you about every cigar, and we auctioned them off and raised money for charity. And Tobacco Plaza donated all the cigars. We raised like $2,500 that night. I mean, it was crazy. People were bidding, you could buy it in the store for, at the time, $8, $9, and they were bidding $25, $30.
That's awesome.
And I never smoked. And that was about 19 years ago. And I said to Randy, I never smoked a cigar. I'd like to smoke something. What do you recommend? And he said, bid on this acid. For the first cigar I smoked and loved, I was an acid hound. I mean, I still have a collection you wouldn't believe. I just don't smoke them anymore. But I have a great acid collection in the humidor. I have the 10th anniversary of that silver box that came out. My first one was the President, the yellow band, opposite Cuba, the blue band, the red bands, the Nasty, the Pasto, the Torpedoes. I was really, for a year and a half, really into acid.
People talk a lot of smack about acid, but I lovingly call it the gateway cigar, because guess what? Guess what my first cigar was? Acid. Cuba. Okay. And look at us now.
Exactly.
And occasionally I'll still pull one out. I'll still pull one out. What I loved about smoking that Cuba was, again, I was a noob, so I liked that flavor, and that's why I got into cigars. After I was done with the cigar, I'd occasionally brush my nose or whatever, and the tobacco smell flavor lingered on my fingers. So I'm just like, oh, and I want another cigar. Like, it was pulling me right back into cigardom. So I totally get like the whole acid cigar introduction. VJ's an anti-acid guy.
Although I'm not anti-acid. My acid didn't come on a cigar, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately because I gave that up, but ultimately, acid to me was too sweet. I actually liked the CAO's, what was it called? Moon Dance?
Moon Dance.
Moon Dance.
Moon Trance.
Right. It was vanilla. And that was about the only flavor that I'd want anywhere near my cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the point where I was like, all right, I don't like coffee, so I'm going to have to just go au natural. And then I gave those up. So if someone gives me a Moon Dance, I might turn away for a few seconds and I might smoke it in the backyard. But yeah, I think flavored cigars, they have a place, absolutely. And with everything going on, trying to take the flavors away from cigars because it unfortunately gets into the wrong hands. Young kids are smoking flavored vape and cigarettes and trying to move away from that. But those manufacturers that produced flavored cigars have done very well for themselves and put them on the map.
And to their credit, Drew Estate, they have less sweet flavored cigars. They're more earthy, more clove and different nutmeg spices like that. So they're not all. I call it blue flavored because people are like, "What flavor is this?" Blue. Like I don't know how else to describe it. So acid.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Blue.
Like I'll have the blue.
Yes. All right. Well, that's interesting. So where did your from that point? So Ariel, you kind of went backwards into the industry. You were in it, and then you were like, "Yeah, let me see what this tastes like." So where did you go from there in terms of your cigar smoking? What did you like about that cigar, those cigars, that you wanted more of?
For me, it's all about flavor.
Yep.
I don't like big ring gauges personally. One, it looks ridiculous when I smoke. But two, I get more flavor from Robustos and Coronas. That's why a lot of the sizes that we've come up with are, a little bit more unique. The Sea Lion, the Merlion Sea Lion was a really special size. This is a cool story. I'm taking you off topic again.
No, this is the topic. By the way, you said meeting all of these people, all different walks of life. That's the whole reason that we kind of came up with the podcast. Ash, chat, Havana. Like you're just smoking and chatting about anything and everything with anyone and everyone about whatever it is you want to talk about. So there's no such thing as off topic. Please.
And
continue.
I have to tell you, I feel like I'm hanging out, even though we're not physically in person. I feel like I'm hanging out in a cigar shop right now.
That's what it's about.
I feel like we're just like kicking back and hanging out
and chatting. Very good. Please continue.
Sorry. So the Sea Lion, the Merlion Sea Lion, I was at the La Aurora factory in Dominican Republic. Very dear friends of mine, and we just finished the blend for the Merlion. I think I'd actually spent like 2 or 3 days there working with Manuel, right? Manuel is like one of the master blenders there, and he was like teaching me, cool. It was like I had my own personal private like tasting blending seminars. It was really an incredible experience. And I was walking with Guillermo Leon and Manuel, and we were walking through the factory, and I saw, at one little table, just one, there's tons and tons of rows of rollers, different sizes, different blends. There was just one table with this guy rolling this really unique shape. We don't have any.
We both smoke. House smoke.
I'll have to send you guys one and send you a picture. But it was just this unique size. It was a little like short, but it started tapered. It had like I can't explain it.
No. I want you to struggle through this. Go ahead.
Okay.
You got this.
The tip was almost like pointy.
Okay.
So it's like almost like triangular in a way, and then it got like thicker in the middle, and then it tapered off at the bottom again.
Huh.
It was really cool. I'd never seen it before at this point I'd been working in the cigar industry for, 2 or 3 years. And when I say working, in a different cigar shop, 5 days a week, every week, you know? And I'd never seen anything like this, even in all my factory tours. And I was like, guys, what is that? And they're like, oh, that's just like a European size. It won't do well in the United States. Like, that's why you haven't seen it. And I was like, okay. So just make
challenge accepted.
Well, it's funny. At first, I was like, I trust you guys. You've done this longer than I, but I want it. So can you please roll me some? And that's how it started. Like they rolled me, I don't know what was like 100 cigars at first.
100 Merlions,
I think
Sea Lions.
Sea Lions, 100 of them just for me. And then what happened was I was smoking them. right? So I was smoking on my fence, and then people were like, "I want that one."
Yes, of course.
I want to try that too, because that was like, to me, that was a flavor bomb. Like that's how I got on this tangent. Like I like smaller ring gauges because I feel like you get so much more of like the nuances, and then the fact that it went from like paper to wider, you know, you had like less filler and then more filler and then less filler again, and it was like just a really unique.
It's a built-in adventure.
It's almost an experience. Yeah.
Totally. I just felt like I was like a little bit on like a ride, you know?
Yeah.
And then we ended up putting that, you know, that size into a 10 count box and pushing that out, which is cool. That's how we ended up getting the Mexican wrapper. Remember, we did the Mexican on the 10th cigar.
Right. But what we did was we decided to work on the blend, the Merlion, and we were tasting samples with tobacco wrappers. We wanted to come out with a Merlion Maduro or something.
Right.
And we ended up picking the San Andreas and making a sea lion in a San Andreas, and every box had 9 sea lion naturals and
The Mexican
San Andreas.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Oh.
And that's how we went into the Merlion Maduro after that. And then when we came out with the Merlion Maduro, we made 10 count boxes of the San Andreas, and we put 1 natural in there.
Very nice.
But tell them what you did with the foot when you came out with Scott.
Why don't you tell them what I did with the foot?
You put real baby seal feet on there.
No animal fur.
They were donated.
Put an unfinished end to look like the tail.
I did that?
Yeah.
I'm a genius.
See how close I was?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that originally?
No.
Oh, that's cool. I'm
You're so smart.
years ago, man. This is in my prime.
Oh,
You know?
man.
Yeah, that was cool. The unfinished thing. You just have to be careful because some people went crazy when they were lighting it, and I was like, "Whoa,
Well, time out.
go down there, girl." Yeah, but yeah, I guess to answer your original question, like everything for me is about flavor, and I like all sorts of flavor. You know, the natural flavor. I like the hints of spice. I like the hints of fruit. Like I like, you know, I don't know. It's funny. It was a complete accident that I ended up in this, but it really, for me, it just became like a family thing, right? Like I have distinct memories of my grandfather and the smell of pipes and cigars, and then, you know, it's so. This is one of my favorite stories. So the same way that I like when I smell, for the record, I never smoked a cigarette in my entire life. It's not my thing. I actually find them like somewhat repulsive. No offense to anyone. Like I will walk around the street to avoid smelling cigarettes being blown in my face.
Offense
But
to
cigars never
everyone.
had that.
Offense to everyone who smokes cigarettes. Put them down. You're killing yourself. Smoke a cigar with us. You won't go back.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Make me. You'll be very happy. But you know, cigars never like. To me, anytime I'd smell a cigar, it would just take me to like a happy memory. And mostly up here at this lake house, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure, like you can correct me if I'm wrong, that my grandpa used to smoke in the living room.
Yeah.
I remember the smell of pipes and cigars in my living room, and you know now, so this is like my favorite story. I think, I don't know what, 40 months ago, I was walking in the city with my daughters. My little one she really had to go to the bathroom, so we just stopped at a steakhouse, and we walked in the steakhouse, and obviously they weren't smoking cigars in the steakhouse, but something about the steakhouse really did smell like cigars, and my daughter goes, "Is this Poppy's place?" Like,
That's awesome.
Poppy here? And I was like, oh, that's so incredible. Like the same way that I smell that and think of my grandfather, she smells it and thinks of her grandfather. Like it was just so cool.
I think we talked about that. We talked about something like that in a previous podcast. How the olfactory sense is so closely connected to your memory banks, and so whatever it is about the cigar or in a room or whatever, that scent takes you back so far many times, and usually it's happy places. Hopefully it's always happy places.
And thank God for us, right? And
Yeah.
for us, it's happy stuff.
So Danny, how about you? Where did you go after your Cuba Drew Estate acid experiences?
Well, I went right to the shop. So, you know, Tobacco Plaza, Randy had a shop. Father. Marshall's been in the business 49 years. Yeah, next year's our 50th anniversary.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so for our 40th, we made some special cigars, and we'll do that again for our 50th. But so Randy told me, listen, we went to football. We got all the football games on Sundays, Monday night, whatever. So I started hanging out at the shop Friday after work. Was my favorite. I would try to leave work early and have lunch there and a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I'd go to a steakhouse and have a burger and a cigar when you could smoke in steakhouses. And I started hanging out at the shop, and that was my regular hangout. So I was in construction my whole life, family business.
Mm-hmm.
And when my dad passed away about 17 years ago, I was looking for a new life, part two. So I retired in construction. I bought into the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I built a lounge downstairs. I called it TP After Dark.
Yep.
Because at the time, we were open from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. And when I bought in, we started opening from 8 in the morning until 1 at night. And I had a lounge downstairs, and that was the beginning of night hours.
I do actually remember that. What was it, Halloween?
Well, yeah, that Halloween we had Pete Johnson. It was the second year of Monster, and he had the Drac and the white box and the black box. The Drac was one.
Money? Was it money?
I don't remember. But anyway, so Pete came and we opened up the lounge with Pete Johnson for Halloween.
Remember when he used to dress up every year? Like every year, he used to dress up with whatever Pete's Monster series was that year. He would
Oh, that's awesome.
he would go to the costume shop and he would show up to whatever event local Pete was at in a full-blown costume.
So, Ariel, which was your favorite costume that he had?
It has to be the werewolf. And we drove to Philly.
Yeah, we went to Philly.
In costume?
Oh, yeah.
costume.
I
Yep.
hope
He
so.
walked
Oh,
right
that's
awesome.
amazing.
Center Philadelphia with a full-blown werewolf mask and
And I was smoking stuff with a mask. Kept getting in my eyes, but
Oh, no. Ariel, you never dressed up? Like you never joined him?
I let him have this.
Oh, boo. Next time you have to, maybe you guys can do a tandem costume of some sort.
well,
Maybe Frankenstein
I
and his
Bride
wife.
of? Yeah.
Bride of.
yeah.
Oh, I love costume
Or
parties.
she-wolf, or I don't know.
Well, Ariel loves costumes, and her favorite holiday is Purim, so she could wear costumes. And she had an engagement party,
Mm-hmm.
Purim engagement party, and I was Pink Poseidon, and you were the bride, weren't you? The bride princess?
Mhm.
I was
I was-
actually just gonna say like maybe a pirate and a mermaid, or
Actually, my youngest sister was the mermaid. My mom was the sea witch,
nice.
the king. King of the sea.
Poseidon. Yes.
I was Bride of Frankenstein, full out, like hair,
Oh yeah, the street,
Cool.
the great street.
I don't know if anyone else believes that. Pictures or it didn't happen.
We
Oh.
have pictures. Oh, we have. You guys,
see,
Make sure you send them, and
this is where a
post them
little
up.
bit of prep might come in good, because then
No.
then we could have had that and I could
I
have
know.
shown it.
Well, I know. But
well,
we never would have gotten to this point.
That's true.
Through
Yeah.
prep.
Right. There's no way.
There's no way.
That's true.
we definitely have pictures because what you guys don't know is Ariel travels around with photographers. So
I do like photographers to accompany me places.
What about videographers? I know a guy. I ain't pointing no elbows, but
we know now that you and my dad smoked acids first, but we never heard what Dave's first cigar was.
Ooh, that's actually something we've never gotten into on the
no,
podcast.
you're jumping ahead, and I like it.
Sorry.
No, it's perfect.
It's actually a bit of a funny story. So when I started smoking young, I was probably, 14, 13, something like that. And I was listening to a lot of rap music, and I heard them always talking about Philly blunts. So my first cigar was actually a Philly blunt. I didn't know they were filling them with other things at that age.
Wow.
So I just thought they were smoking Philly blunts. So that was my first cigar. And then from there I went and I unfortunately smoked cigarettes for a while. But then when I quit cigarettes, probably something like 20 years ago now. I started smoking cigars once in a while, and I actually don't remember what my first actual like premium cigar was, but the cigar that got me into cigars the way I am now, I was on a trip probably about 4 or 5 years ago now in Puerto Rico, and there was a small shop in one of the downtowns that was rolling cigars right outside, and I grabbed one of those, and forget the name of that one too, but it's in my my list somewhere.
I think
I
they're
didn't do
filling
any
your
prep. I
cigars
didn't do
with
any prep.
that other stuff.
But yeah, so that cigar, it was a Puerto Rican brand, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, that got me into coming back home, and being like, all right, I want to get my humidor going again, and all that kind of stuff. And then I found this place, and Keith has been giving me cigars ever since.
Literally,
that's the short
day.
version. That's the short
like
version.
He walks in, he does a few laps around the retail store.
I'm not good at making decisions.
And then I go and rescue him, and I'm like, Dave.
Try this one.
or to make it tough, I give him like 3 cigars to choose from. I'm like, this, or this. He's like,
that's
oh,
the worst
man.
thing you can do.
It's like what you do with women for restaurants, you know?
No. That's a whole nother science and art. No.
I read the funniest thing. My friend sent it to me. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was like, how do you like sneakily find out where your girl really wants to eat tonight? Oh,
We need a whole separate podcast for that one. We got a lot of
And so how do you? Being the only woman on this podcast at this moment? Because you can't just ask her.
Hold on, no, you can't. I'm gonna find
She's
the
gonna
answer.
find it.
I'm gonna find it for you.
All right, so Don Ray Cigars was the name of the brand that I smoked in Puerto Rico. So yeah, so that's the brand that I had down there and got me back into actual premium cigars.
That was your gateway cigar to premium smoke.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My first premium was a Fuente Locavat Maduro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was good.
Nice little short smoke, interesting size.
Yeah, and then after that, it got crazy. Then after that, I was only smoking the Drone Anniversaries, Ashton DSGs, and Yeho Shine. Yeah, my top 3 cigars were at the time the Drone and Yeho and Ashton DSG.
That was actually going to be one of my next questions. What are your favorite non-Cuban cigars? Were you able to find it, Ariel?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to it. Whenever we'll come back to it.
We'll see if we can make people really want it.
Yeah.
So first of all, a lot of people, including my brother, are Cuban snobs, and I went to Cuba, and I am not a fan of Cuban smoke. That's personal.
Okay.
So I don't even consider, if you say what's your top cigar, including Cuban would be in the top 10.
Wow.
What do you not like about the Cuban, the flavor of the Cuban smokes?
Okay, I won't say the flavor.
Okay.
Because some Cuban cigars, the flavor is fabulous. My problem with Cuban cigars is no consistency. They don't age their tobacco properly. They don't ferment it properly. They rush it out. If you buy a box of Bahiques for $800,
You got to age it for a couple of years.
they're plugged. Some of them are plugged, some of them are not, some are great, some aren't. So the answer is consistency and fermentation.
Valid points. And I can't find a disagreement in there. Okay, so
Now-
non-Cuban. Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite cigar is Padron Anniversary, and it was the 80. Or is
Yes.
The reason I say it was the 80 is because they came out with the hammer in the
Yep.
humidor.
Yep.
That became my favorite smoke. So,
Great smokes.
I mean, the drone is my favorite smoke of all time.
Besides last round.
I'll bring it back, folks.
Obviously.
He said, besides La Sirena and Cuba. And, Ariel, tell me what favorite smoke is if it's not La Sirena. You were with me there, too.
Might be Padron.
Might be
Right.
64.
Not only you know the size, the year, and everything.
Yeah,
Sure.
64 Dario might be my all-time. The box press.
Great
You know,
smokes.
It's funny. I really do like one of my favorite things. And I'm not like this with it's wine and cigars. I'm very different. Like when I go to a restaurant, I'll order the same thing off the menu every single time. But when I'm smoking cigars and when I'm having like a bottle of wine, I want to switch it up.
Want something different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. But
So speaking of when you're at a restaurant, how is it that you figure out secretly what your lady wants to what restaurant she wants to eat at?
okay, this is what you do. Ready? and thank you to my dear friend Joshua Washington for sharing this with us. You say while you guys are in the car driving, or even if you want to do takeout, hey babe, guess where I'm taking you for dinner tonight? Or babe, guess what I ordered us for dinner tonight? And you wait until she guesses. And whatever she says, you just do.
That's not that's brilliant, but it's not 100%. It's not, because she could be setting you up, and women normally are setting you up. Like that's their full-time job. Set you up for failure. Yeah.
No,
oh yeah, totally.
Like that, they don't even get to think about it. They can't think of a setup. Like, hey, guess where you're taking me? You're gonna just automatically say what you're in the mood for.
All right. So let's try this out. Ariel, guess where I'm taking you for dinner? You'll never guess.
Right. So I'd be like, oh, you're definitely taking me to Pio tonight, right?
Yeah. I turn around and go the opposite way. Like, yes, that was it.
Same page, you know?
That's great. I like
Read
that.
my mind.
I usually
That's
do
great.
that and I find out that there's a taco stand on the other side of town. And I have to admit, I don't want to drive to the other side of town.
I didn't say you have to follow the advice.
But you pretty much do.
Depending how you want the evening to end. That's up to you.
Exactly. Sorry, I was slightly distracted by something that I was trying to keep as a surprise, and I'm going to, after Dave comes back on, I'm going to step away for a moment and bring back tiny surprise. Nothing big. Don't get your hopes up. Just tiny little surprise.
I feel like he says that a lot.
Where are you guys live, Dave?
What's that?
Where are you?
We're in Monroe at the Havana on 25.
Monroe, Connecticut?
Yep.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to think.
What the surprise to me?
Yeah, who no, he's bringing a person that knows us or you personally from your bank or something.
I don't know about that much.
It's the Chihuahua from Dominican Republic.
That's Honduras.
Wait, my Chihuahua?
Close.
Oh, there you go. That's a Chihuahua blend.
I didn't even. It was 2 seconds before you walked into frame. I swear.
No, she called it.
That's my arch enemy.
Oh, that's Artie Party.
I'm the party man.
He automatically gets a golden ticket invitation.
This is his first appearance.
And he totally needs a chaperone.
I'll go with it.
I'm not going with it.
So he's a Dachshund Chihuahua mix, and I'm sitting for a friend. I'm puppy sitting for a friend, so he got to join us today at the lounge, and he loves it here. So far, so good.
And speaking of,
He's actually miserable. He doesn't like when I walk in. He has a hard time with me. In fact, when I leave, he takes my chair, so I can't sit there. Not happy.
It's
happy
true.
talking.
That
I've
only
seen it.
happened once.
There was
I've seen
nothing
it.
that made me happier when I was traveling around and I'd walk into a cigar shop and there was the cigar dog, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh.
so speaking of factories, you have the Dominican Pro Fest February 22nd, and I go every year. So if you really want to see factories and meet some of the greatest people in the cigar industry, the Festival of Dominican Republic.
And go to the coolest thing about the Pro Fest, which I highly recommend to anyone who can ever get there at least once, is you spend the days really deep in cigars, and then you spend the nights partying. And they're the most amazing parties. Like the DJs, the the events. They bring out one time I couldn't believe it. Like the violinist, it was like an electric violinist, and the violin lit up the way it was just incredible.
Were they
And
the funky? Were they the funky electric violin? Like it doesn't look like a violin, but it's similar shape. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So cool. Oh, and then at the was it the Capitol building?
Yes.
The white party at the Capitol building. It's the only event the entire year that they hold there, and that's at the Cigar Pro Fest. Plus, you meet everyone. It's everyone in one place. It's really.
I've certainly got to hang out with you guys more often because hanging out with VJ and Dave, it's not quite as cool.
You just gotta start new traditions. That's all.
All right,
Yes.
his mic is getting muted.
It's not really muted.
No, it was. You just weren't talking at the time.
So you guys have to come to our lounge at some point in time, pay us a visit, hang out with us.
I would love that.
Have lots of fun things here. We have sometimes we get special guest tiny dogs here. We have electronic darts, which we played last night. We have a small little archery range out back. We have plastic hatchets so that we don't hurt anyone and we can play indoors.
You say so that we can't hurt anyone, but
I know, but it's a podcast. I have to say that. Disclaimer. We play cards here. We have flat screen TVs, watch all the sports, all of the Olympics right now. So, in my opinion, and in others' opinion, it's a great time. So, we'd be honored to have you guys down at any point in time.
We absolutely have
Just
to
let
do
us
that.
know. Or just show up.
Well, we can do that. I'll speak to VJ. We're thinking of where we should introduce Mexican Mermaid.
I don't think there's a question.
oh, I mean, are we getting into that now?
Well,
I
we
don't-
can.
Okay. Well, great segue. Speaking of segue,
Okay.
But we were made.
So we are introducing in September Mexican Mermaid. The introduction will be one size, and it's the same size as the 10th anniversary, 54 by 5.5, 5 3/4 ounce.
mm-hmm.
I'm holding it up now, the anniversary.
And I believe we have a little bit of the artwork that I can pull up
Yes.
here.
This is the new artwork for the Mexican Mermaid, and obviously the artwork and the bands are made by Cigar Rings, Albert, my friend in the Dominican Republic.
Very good
And-
job. I like that.
And the cigars are being made by Ostos Fernandez, Tobacco Island. Ostos opened up a new factory in February.
Now, where is that?
January.
Where is that?
Ostos is it's in Dominican Republic.
Okay. All right.
It has a Mexican binder and Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Honduran fillers. So we're introducing it only because you know how things are. The bands aren't ready yet, but they will be by September.
Mhm.
Boxes aren't ready yet. Willingly in September. But the one size is aging right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going down to the DR shortly to smoke 3 other sizes. One of them will be a 6x60 box press,
Mm.
which is, if it smokes as well as this size, then that will be our second primary size.
Okay.
And our plan is to bring a third size in every 6 months.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And this way there'll always be 3 sizes on the shelf.
Mm.
And right now we're waiting for samples, and it's going to be a toss between either a Lancero or a Short Perfecto.
Lancero or a
Short Perfecto.
Short Perfecto.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to see which smokes better at first, and that will be the third size.
Well, maybe you could also do Ariel's tapered and then larger and then hooked with the taper large hook
And the tail at the
dip
end.
and the tail, a little waggedy tail. Maybe we can do that one too. You have to send me like a picture or something of that so that we can post it.
Kevin McGreer wants to know, what part of the DR are you going to?
Kevin McGreer, by the way, happens to be my brother.
Okay. Now we talk about where we're blending or where we're going for the festival.
Festival.
Yeah, probably.
The festival is in Santiago.
Oh,
I
very
know.
cool.
Well, I wanted to be specific.
See, you talk about women trying to trick you. That was a trick. Unless, of course,
Guilty.
you do it my dad's way, which is, he's going to Santiago to test a new blend, and since he happens to be in the Dominican anyway, he's just going to go to the beach for the weekend to smoke the blends,
Is there a better place to test a cigar than the beach?
I don't think so.
And if there is, you need to go there too, Danny.
We have a place in Fort Lauderdale that I like to spend the weekends in the Dominican Republic and smoke the samples, and then go back Monday and tell them which way we're going, and then I go back home.
I have to say though, that's a very smart way to do it. Like, that's true quality control, because you're in an environment, your head is clear, nothing bothering you, and you really get to focus on the flavors of the cigar instead of being bombarded by anything else. So this is me defending him, by the way. So well done. You keep doing that, or whatever else you think is necessary for you to come out with these blends.
Keith, I would defend him a lot more if I was invited on some of these trips.
I know, that's what I'm working on. See.
And by the way, I'll be happy to do it on location.
On location. Oh, that's great. All right. So, question for you guys again. Take it in any order. I would say ladies first. What are your favorite hobbies? What do you do for fun outside of the cigar industry? It can include it, but not specifically cigar related.
Ooh.
Pressure.
Mine, no, definitely without it. I mean, it's been hard, obviously, the past year and a half, but live theater. Live theater is my that's what I live for besides cigars. Musical.
Performing or viewing?
I do love to perform, but I haven't done that in a while.
Ariel has been off Broadway in 2 productions.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel has won awards, actress awards at college she went to. Ariel went to London to study Shakespearean theater and actually played soccer for the London team. He is well versed. But live theater, that's the reason she lives in Manhattan, which I'm not a big fan of. But the only time I go to Manhattan is to see a show. I love.
Or to see me. I bribe him with dinner. I get him to come in, and then after dinner, I live in Manhattan, right? So this is prime. I have a 10 by 10 outdoor space. So after dinner, we sit in the backyard, which does not look like this. Although if you crank your neck really like in a 90-degree angle, we're right underneath the Empire State Building.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Empire State Building, we have a cigar.
Perfect.
So he'll come you once a month or so.
Yeah, a lot less during COVID. So, yes.
So live theater, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that is the cool part about living in Manhattan is like we would wake up sometimes on a Sunday and be like, okay, let's just go get tickets for something. Let's just like walk into a theater. You gotta go help someone.
Nope, we're good. Just a couple members.
Few members.
Just pick up a La Sirena, guys.
So how about you, Danny? What's your fun thing to do?
It's real easy. I am a avid Yankee fan. I was actually.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I went to Yankee fantasy camp for my 50th birthday. I played with the Yankees. I got baseball cards, and I had a good run there.
That sounds awesome.
Baseball is the answer for that.
That was.
Very cool. Do you play at all, or did you play, or are you just a fan?
I did play, but now I'm just.
Awesome. BJ, what about you? You're quiet.
I'm enjoying La Sirena Anniversario, and it's fantastic. We haven't talked much about the.
Yeah, we haven't talked cigar really, what we're smoking anyway, really at all. I gotta say this thing's great, especially as a morning smoke. Like I've got my coffee right here. This thing is fantastic. A lot of flavor, but it's very smooth, and it's a great introduction to start the day. It's fantastic.
It's like to say this. Like when I think you had just stepped out, and that was pretty much like line for line how I described the cigar.
Really?
So,
oh, well, there you go.
I appreciate that you that we're on the same page. See?
Did you? That's what you were doing on your phone. You were texting him. You were like, when you come back, wait 15, 20 minutes, and then say exactly this, word for word. Oh, that's what the teleprompter is for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, but like that's just what it is. It's literally what it is. It's mild.
I'm sorry. I think you're muted.
Oh,
He lost his mic for 1 minute.
He
Oh.
was. Yeah.
he likes to do that. Thank you. No one else was going to say a word.
Well, no, because I still hear you.
No, but word for word, like that's exactly what this cigar is. It's mild enough to be your very first smoke, but flavor enough where you know you're smoking a good cigar. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Going back into the cigars, so Ostos, which is the nephew of Manny Casada, when he was with Manny, that's the blender, now has his own factory, making the Mexican Mermaid, we blended the Oceana with him, which happens to be our strongest cigar in the portfolio. We have a special Dominican leaf on there that's only been used in 2 cigars. I don't remember what the other one was. And that was an interesting story because I went to the Dominican Republic, I chose the blend, and then we took samples back, and we smoked a sample or 2 every other week. And on week 3, Ariel said, there's something wrong with this cigar. And she has a great palate. One thing about Ariel, her palate is great. I mean, her expertise in this field is really her artist.
Oh, marketing and design, maybe.
Okay, marketing design. But
The pretty stuff.
she's a true artist. So the band, the enormous band was all Ariel. The colors were all Ariel. The original logo and shirt and colors were Ariel with Miami Cigars. Ariel has a lot of flair and did all that stuff. And my specialty is financing it. But besides that, I do go down to the countries and work on the blends with the master blenders, knowing what we want. But it always comes back to Ariel before we actually come out with the cigar. Her palate is great. And in week 3, she said, Dad, there's something wrong with the cigar. So we went back to the Dominican Republic the next week, brought it to Ostos. He lit it up, he smoked it, he goes, you're right. I know what the problem is. And he took out a leaf and added another leaf. And again, we took the samples back with us. And week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. After week 6, we said, yep, this is the one. So that was the Oceana, 5 sizes, each one named after an ocean. Again, Ariel with her, Ariel the mermaid, the water theme, the ocean theme, all about mermaid. Matter of fact, we didn't tell them yet. And whoever's listening probably heard the story 100 times. Story. Ariel, how did you come up with the name La Sirena?
Okay, sorry you heard it, but
No,
I never have.
We're not sorry.
Yeah.
And I've heard it 1,000 times, and I want to hear it one more time at least.
Well, it's just, I think what was so cool about it is like we had already decided that it was happening. We already had the blend of the cigar. Like everything was in place except we couldn't come up with a name, right? So at this point, we were involved, Miami Cigars, we were partners, and Nestor Miranda, who I love and a huge mentor. We were
Fabulous.
Ravenish.
Ravenish.
Every time I would see him, oh, you look ravenish. But Nestor was like, let's call it. Nestor's cigar line is like the Nestor Miranda, right? So he's like, let's call yours the Ariel. And I was like, that didn't feel right. Like I'm not Nestor. I didn't grow up, with cigars like this. I'm not Cuban. I don't know. It didn't feel right. So we were just playing around with names for like a whole week. We were all together in New York, and then like the end of the trip, we were sitting in Club Macanudo in Manhattan. We were sitting at the back table. There was a lot of us, and everyone was speaking Spanish, and I was just sitting there smoking a cigar because I don't understand. I could pick out every 4th word, and I'm like, yeah, I know they're talking about the number 5. I don't know. But all of a sudden, like all the Spanish was going on in my head, and I was like, hey, I think I leaned in next to Renee was there, and then Jose was there, right? Oh, Jorge. Yeah, and I leaned over to Jorge, and I was like, hey, how do you, like in the middle, they're all talking. I'm like, hey, how do you say the mermaid in Spanish? And he's like, La Sirena. And then he like goes back to his conversation. I was like, oh, that's it. So we like wrote it on a cocktail napkin. We passed it around, and everyone was like, that's it.
That's it.
And that
Nice.
was it. That was it.
So I've heard that I've heard that story 1,000 times from VJ, but it never sounded as sweet as when you just told it. So
I can't get that La Sirena out.
La Sirena. It's perfect.
You speak Spanish?
I do. But not in
But he doesn't look ravenous.
Looks rabid.
Wow. Very cool. Sorry, guys. I'm just doing a little. People are asking for the links and stuff. So.
I was about to say, are there any questions from the audience? You know, you guys are pretty lucky, everyone listening, because this is Ariel's first live broadcast since last year during Corona. I guess during virus. When we were doing a live broadcast with. No, it was with Tizzle, John Carney, on his broadcast out of Florida. We did soap reviews and everything. I don't remember the name.
You did one Lincoln last time.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
okay. Well, actually, yeah, we did a couple of.
It's the first one in a year.
It was the first one in a year for sure.
Well, we're honored to have that.
Have
Just
both
kind
you
of
guys
now.
on.
But
Yes.
like I said, Ariel is not doing many events, but when he does events, they're special, and I think a nice introduction in Connecticut of the Mexican Mermaid might work for them.
When is the release?
Well, we're hoping to have it shipped early September.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about it to Patrick from Half Wheel, and I mentioned I hope we have it by Rosh Hashanah for the new year. We're the first person to reference a Jewish holiday.
Yes. Well, lucky for you guys, I'm free that day. So, or whatever day it becomes, I'm free that day.
We might be a little busy, yeah. But you know, the day after,
Well,
start the new year with a bang.
There you
There
go.
you go.
It might be a good introduction
Yeah.
date for that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do that.
Funny, every time I do it, right? Like every time I get like a taste of my old life, I want it back. Not without the kids. I want, I'll keep the kids.
Right.
I just want to be,
Do
I want
do we
back
want
into
to
it.
do we want to do like a podcast intro of it?
I mean,
don't
that's
know.
up to them.
I know, but I'm asking everyone actually. I'm just looking at you because you're
Well,
beautiful.
That's fair.
We could definitely do a podcast that night, but
Yeah.
I think that your customers with great taste in Connecticut would come and would smoke some. and
Yeah,
buy some.
no, absolutely.
yeah.
That they can be here. Watching us do it live and being live, and we'll talk more about it. That was just a little brainstorming, but thinking out
I like
loud.
it.
But what
I
was
like
it?
your ideas.
VJ mentioned that you have people listening that might have questions. So I don't know how they do that with an iPod. But,
Well, I'm looking at the Facebook chat, and the only question really that came in so far was the one about DR. But again, I might not be seeing everything, so if you are watching and you're not on the official Ash Chat Havana Facebook page, go on there and post your questions, because otherwise I probably won't see them come up in this chat. So if you are asking questions and you're watching somewhere else, just go there and post your questions up.
I've got a quick question. So I think we touched upon this. The various manufacturers that La Sirena has utilized for producing these great cigars. We talked about that. What differentiates La Sirena? I mean, it's a huge cigar space. You've got your national brands, you've got your boutique and blended brands, and they're kind of some either consolidations that happen in the industry. What do you think differentiates La Sirena from the industry? Now, 10, 12 years later, you've got to be relevant, and you have to be able to put out, obviously, Mexican Mermaid. What differentiates you?
Well, I think what differentiates us and why each one of our cigars is so different is the fact that we work with, in my opinion, some of the best manufacturers in the industry. We're not tied down to one factory, and for the cigar geeks that are listening, and for the people that are really into cigars, you could smoke a cigar and say, I know what factory that's from. Even though they have 40 different blends, 80, 90, 100 different SKUs, when you smoke a My Father's cigar. You know it's a My Father's cigar. They got Lajaro up front, the pepper in your face. They have a signature. When you smoke Davidoff, anything out of Davidoff, you know you're smoking a Davidoff. It has a signature. I mean, I find the same thing with every factory. But those are real particular factories where everybody knows they're smoking without the bands. I'm not talking about, a lot of people take off the bands first, which is fine, but you know what you're smoking, you know what factory it's at. If you're really into cigars and smoke a lot of different stuff.
It's like recognizing an artist.
Right,
like an artist painting.
So what we pride ourselves on is the fact that we work with all different great manufacturers. We work with Espinosa and La Zona. We work with Manny Casada. We work with Plasencia. We work with Rocky Patel. We work with La Aurora, the Amber Leon. Now Ostos again, but his own factory. And what I love the best, when I went to Mexico to blend the Anniversary Especial, I was working with Alejandro Tarrant. Now Alejandro Tarrant's family has the best tobacco out there, period, especially in Mexico. So Alejandro approached me, and I still have the voice message on my phone because I was very delighted that he said, I want to make a cigar for La Sirena. You guys are really doing well in the industry. I would love to work with you. And I had a blend in mind with a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. And there were certain tobaccos I wanted to use. At that time, in Mexico, they could not use tobaccos from other countries. They all had to
no
be
kidding.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, the law changed in Mexico. If it was a law or a rule or whatever, where they could import tobaccos and use it in their cigars. And Alejandro Tarrant made a cigar, which I love, his 1880, in honor of his great-grandfather, who started the farm. Fabulous cigar. Now he has it in 5 different wrappers. He's doing great stuff. And I called him up and I said, Alejandro, now that you are making cigars with other tobacco, I'd love to come to Mexico and work with you. And that was one of my best trips. And by the way, that cigar, Ariel never smoked until after I came out with it. That was my cigar to celebrate Ariel's 10th anniversary.
Very nice.
That was the only cigar she never smoked before it came out.
Now, did you taste that on the beach?
We smoked some amazing places in Mexico. The Falls.
Good man.
We were at the hotel at night. It was a great experience.
Well, I wasn't invited on that one.
But
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. But again, I'm not a master blender. I just knew the tobacco I wanted to work with. And I smoked 60 fumas of 60 different tobaccos, just individual tobaccos. And I picked 5 or 6 leaves I wanted to work with. And then Alejandro made me 10 cigars with those leaves in different amounts, ratios. And then I narrowed that down to 5. He made me 5 more. I narrowed it down to 3. I took 10 back with me to the States, smoked with people I respect and myself. DJ was one of the testers. John Klein was one of the testers. Renee Castaneda, myself, some other friends. And we came out with the blend I felt was the right blend for the anniversary.
Now, what size was that?
It's a 54 by 5
and a quarter, 3/4.
Yeah.
So my biggest question there is, what's it like to have people you respect?
Well,
You'll never know.
I know that's a joke question for the person sitting to your right or left, but that's what I love, and Ariel speaks for herself, about the industry. They have their own brands, they have their own factories, but they don't look at me as competition.
Correct.
They look at me as a friend, they look
Family.
at me as someone to help, and they just want to do the right thing for the cigar industry.
Correct.
So I respect these people immensely. I mean, really, really do. I mean, because they could all have said, we don't want competition. One less brand on the shelf is better for us. And none of them ever said that. So that's what I love about it.
It doesn't.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't improve the industry.
Yeah, it was obviously a joke when I said that, but it does bring up a very valid point that we've brought up here on the show before. Like, it's such a small industry. Everyone knows each other and everyone's got each other's backs for the most part. There's obviously a couple outliers, like as in with anything, but I think that's part of the cool part is even with cigar shops and brands, and everyone seems to have that brotherhood and sisterhood that it's a camaraderie.
We all support one another.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no question. As a cigar shop owner, so I wear two hats, and I have connections or great friends in some companies, and not as great of friends or connections in other companies, where other shop owners have that. And I horse trade all the time. I have something that you can't get, you have something I can't get, and we trade, we help each other out. So, again, the cigar industry and the people, on the most part, are fabulous. You have your exceptions, but that's life.
Well, I want to thank you, Danny, on air for graciously welcoming me to the lounge there. Had a blast when I was there.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was fun.
We love having you, and like I said, hopefully to your shop sometime in September.
Anytime.
I VJ knows I go to a lot of shops. I travel a lot, and I do the right thing, which everyone should do. If you go into a shop, buy a cigar. Don't bring cigars with you. That is offensive, ridiculous, and embarrassing. And you don't need to embarrass the owner or the manager or anyone there. And even if you're a manufacturer, which is my other hat, and I have Las Serenas in my pocket, I'll give the Las Serenas to the owner or the manager. Unfortunately, we can't give it to customers anymore. We can't give samples out. And I'll buy cigars, and I'll buy something I don't have in my shop. If I want to smoke things I don't have. So I think that's important for everyone that walks into a shop.
That's a great point, and I was going to put a caveat on there. Do bring cigars, but bring cigars and share them.
And then buy.
And then buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always a good thing.
The only rule in my shop, and I assume in yours or whatever, we have no memberships. We have lockers. You can rent a locker. You save 20% by a box in your locker, smoke out of your locker. But the only rule, there's no members. There's locker owners, but no members. Everyone is welcome. All you have to do is buy a cigar.
That's it.
Seems like an easy concept.
Yeah. Some people look at it though.
Yeah.
So are you guys finished with your smokes?
Sorry?
Are you guys finished with your smokes?
No, Ariel's
I'm
burning
pretty close.
to the nub.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice ash.
Wow.
And as always, we haven't really touched upon it, but I'm in my third cigar. Finish them all very quickly.
It's quite all right, VJ.
Well, I'm on my second cigar because I'm smoking an A, and that takes a little bit longer than most cigars.
Yeah, I'm just about down to the nub here, and this is even right down to the finish. This is fantastic. Same, just never got harsh. Really good.
That was always a question that people would ask me when I would be traveling around for cigar events, and they'd be like, your fingers are about to burn. You have a million cigars, like you own the cigars. Put it out and start again. And I'm like, that is not how we blend
It's the
cigars.
best part.
Like, I want the finish.
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
the comes back at the end before I put it out.
Dave gets rid of his cigars about halfway. That's not true. That's true. He leaves about 1.5 inches.
Yeah, about an inch.
As referenced in other podcast shows we've done, Dave, have you figured out how to retrohale yet? Because that last one is great.
I can once in a while I can pull it off, but haven't perfected it yet.
Well, I was taught in my second year of smoking cigars by Christian Aral down in Honduras as we were testing his blends and everything else. And he said to me, "Gringo, what do you know? You don't retrohale." I said, "Well, how do you retrohale?" And he taught me how to retrohale. And the flavor difference through the nose, right through the mouth, is 140 times different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is nice and smooth. There's no burn.
Let's see.
I think we just lost VJ. He might come back. It's nice and smooth. There's no burn
take
whatsoever.
him out for now.
And again, like you said, the amount of flavor that you're picking up in addition to normal smoke, it's tremendous.
Yeah, that's a key. You don't have to, but you want to enjoy it differently. You should learn how to recognize it.
I say it's like smoking it twice.
Yes. Or smoking 2 different cigars.
Yeah. Yep.
So what else?
Yeah, VJ.
What other questions do we have, or do they have any questions for us before we wrap up?
Do we have questions for them, or do they have questions for us?
Oh. Anything? How about this one? One I've been asking quite a while is you've been in the industry, in and out, and it still continues to generate a lot of buzz, La Sirena. In fact, I see messages every now and then that come up and say, "Where is La Sirena?" You know, a shop has either had it or wants to get it back, and people are looking to order them. I mean, the average person that smokes has had the opportunity and the pleasure of smoking La Sirena will never forget their first experience. That's one thing I've noticed from most of the people that I've talked to. I was recently at the TPE and the PCA. You know, hey, when's the last time you had a La Sirena? I said, I've got one right here. You know, and these guys are looking at the long term now with Mexican Mermaid coming out. You find yourself putting yourself on the spot, looking at ways to be more relevant with Mexican Mermaid. You find yourself looking at ways to become more relevant. Given, again, I go back to the industry is small, and nowadays we have so many different cigars out there. And there are other opportunities that La Sirena has now to really become maybe more relevant than they have in the last 10 years.
It's a good question, and there's 2 answers. We are as relevant as we are because of Ariel. And when Ariel's up and about, we're more relevant. Ariel has a family. She literally, in the first 2 years, was Platinum Delta. She traveled. She traveled 46 weeks a year, 5 days a week.
Wow.
And
That's grueling.
but it is grueling for a lot of everyone that's doing it. And we are relevant in a lot of respects, but we are not out there as much as other people. We will continue to be relevant, maybe a little more relevant if Ariel travels once in a blue moon. We redid our website. I get info at La Sirena Cigars. I get a lot of people asking me where to get the cigars, and I give them the cigar stores in the area that's closest to them. I'll give them a cigar store that ships, that always has it in stock. So they can find it if they want it, and people do. I get a lot of emails at info at La Sirena Cigars, and I do answer every email, or Ariel's every email, and we do share where it's available. But, in the real world, Ariel is busy raising a family, a husband, children, and she has other jobs. So we will never be as relevant as some people want us, but we're here. We've been here since day one. Ariel's been here since day one, and we're not going anywhere. We've proven that. Ariel is the longest woman-owned and operated cigar company ever. There was one lady that tried before her, and a year or 2 left. Other women have gone into it. Karen Berger, Kiki's wife, is doing a great job in the industry. Since Kiki passed away, there are a lot of great women. Yanni, is running the company with her brother and father. Raquel Casada is now running more or less the face of the company with Manny. Nurka, runs Daga Cigars. I mean, there are great women in the industry, but Ariel has been here, I would say, the longest right now, since she started and continued, never stopped. So we're not going anywhere. There's no reason.
So let me ask you, as a retailer and for our listeners out there, what can we do to help spread the word about La Sirena?
Well, what you guys are doing already, and we are solid in a lot of shops, and then we're not in a lot of shops because out of sight, out of mind, and that happens. But it's available, and if the owner likes it, and people call me up, Danny, we want to get La Sirena, but my shop doesn't have it. I say, listen, tell the owner to contact me. I give my cell number out to everybody. Info at La Sirena. We answer all the questions. Danny at La Sirena, Ariel at La Sirena. Everything gets answered, and we would definitely help. I mean, I would go to any shop to help launch the brand.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6 lines, 35 facings, and I would bring cigars and help. I will never promise that Ariel will come, but when we work it out ahead of time, she's there. For the right event and the right amount of boxes, Ariel will travel. It's a business.
Absolutely.
And it costs a lot of money to fly. It costs a lot of money for the hotel. And every event, Ariel has something special to give away with the cigar purchases. That costs money. Advertising costs money. It's a business, so don't let anyone fool you. It's a passion.
Absolutely.
But Ariel's not coming
Passion
down.
costs money. It's not free.
Ariel's not coming down, just because somebody wants to see her. But when she travels, she stops by cigar stores, unannounced. But to do an event, it's something that has to be planned in advance, and it has to be special.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah, can't
And I'm a
argue
good
that.
time. So when I do come, it's always a great afternoon, evening. Like I love it.
Sure.
It's right. It's hard, but my kids are getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was the point. I said to my dad, priorities change, things shift, but
Sure.
I never wanted this to go away.
Right.
This was my baby. This was my passion.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I'm really proud of, and it's something I love. So even though I haven't been traveling as much, my Instagram page, pregnant for 2 out of the last 3 years. But especially as a mom now of two girls, of 2 young ladies, it's important for me that they see their mom, doing something that she loves. Yeah. Well, yes, they need to see me a lot, especially now, so young. But also in terms of their future.
Sure.
I think it's really incredible. This is a family business. My dad's why I got into it. I would have never been hanging out at a cigar shop watching a Yankee game. After I got home from college, I'd go to college for the day and then I'd go hang out with him for dinner at the cigar shop, watch the Yankee game, and that wouldn't have happened if he didn't get into it. Correct. And I love my girls. I love that they know the smell. I love that they look at pictures of me in magazines and they're like, "Whoa, mom!" And more importantly, it's I want them to feel like they can do anything, and that's how I feel in the cigar industry. I feel like I can do anything, and that's because of everyone who's had my back and supported me, from the manufacturers to the shop owners to the customers to Instagram friends. People I've met once, twice, 3 times, people I've never met before in person. It's a really special place, and you guys know this. I don't have to tell you, but it's important that people know I'm still here. I'm still part of it. I'm still tasting blends and picking sizes and putting my twist on things until he's trying to surprise me because he wants to mess with me. But I really want my girls to see it, and I want that to inspire them. And my older one, she says, "Mommy, I can do anything." And I'm like, and don't you forget it.
Boom.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Don't you forget it.
Well, you guys are wonderful. You're wonderful people, and we want to thank you again for coming on. I've been secretly, because you two didn't know, following you guys through VJ. VJ keeps me apprised and abreast of everything, all the goings on, and supporting you guys as much as I can. I'm going to make sure I get your cigars here, get a nice line here, and we'll also work on doing a launch here as well. But you guys are doing wonderful things, not just for your company, but for the entire industry. Down, from the manufacturers to the retailers to the consumers, you guys do great work. Also, as a representation of women and of mothers, fantastic work. So I want to thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having us and for continuously supporting us in multiple ways. And we'll see you in September, and hopefully at the lake and in Dominican and
Gold band, platinum band. I'm getting all the bands. I got my big box of Crayolas. I'm going to be coloring.
Thank you so much for having us. This was really such a wonderful afternoon, honestly.
It really was. So I won't keep you guys any longer unless you have other things to cover or any other secrets you want to share with us before we go.
No, that's why they're called secrets.
Yeah, but secrets, that you can share.
They already told everyone how to make their girl happy.
Yeah, we're all gonna run out.
Yeah, I think that was
great.
the big one for the.
That was, and I'm gonna try that one. I guess I need to find a girl first. Shit. That's the secret. You know what? That's the secret, Ariel. That I need. I need that secret. We'll talk.
I will work on it.
We'll talk.
I think we're gonna host a bachelor style cigar event.
Again, I like the way you're thinking.
All right, so stay tuned for that. And I think with that note, again, thank you guys for joining us. This has been fantastic, a lot of fun. This has been another episode of Ash Chat Havana. I want to thank everyone for watching live. This will also be out on all the podcast apps. Probably come up on Friday.
Yep.
So
Friday.
Look for that on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. This will be out. And once again, it's been a lovely time. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks to Danny and Ariel for joining us. It looks fantastic where you guys are, and I wish I was there. I think I'm gonna go sit outside in the parking lot just so I can kind of pretend
Next to the puddle.
Yeah, just so I can kind of pretend at least I'm almost in that situation. But yeah, follow us if you're not already at Ash Chat Havana, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
And we'll post links for La Sirena as well.
Yeah, that'll all be in the
podcast.
podcast description. So again, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for joining us.
Enjoy the rest of the day, guys.
Thank you.